We're gonna open up the box and we're gonna get it set up. We're gonna get a perimeter established, and we're gonna get things going here. So here we have our collar, receiver that the dog will wear. We have our main control unit, some different accessories and points for the collar, our charging plug and our charging wire, as well as our collar. Okay, so let's get our collar set up. Here we have our receiver and our collar strap. We're going to insert the collar strap into the receiver and pull it through. I'm going to put it somewhere in the middle. Now we have to install our contact points. We include two different sizes. Long for a dog with a longer coat, and short for a dog with a shorter coat. Okay, for today's purpose, we're going to use the longer contact points. Okay, so we're going to insert the longer contact points. We have brass threaded inserts in the bottom of the collar. We're going to thread our long contact points into those inserts. Okay, we're going to make sure we snug them down nice, both contacts. Okay. Here we have our testing tool, which is also functioning as a wrench to tighten the contact points. We're going to insert that on our contact point. We're going to rotate it nice and snug and put that to the side. Now we include optional silicone contact caps. These are optional. Let's say if your dog has sensitive skin or you notice any reaction to the metal in the contacts. So these are optional to just insert over the top of the contact points. So while we're setting up our electronic fence, we want to be careful not to touch our contact points on our collar. Okay, next step, let's get our collar and transmitter turned on. We want to turn on the transmitter before the receiver, very important. So we're going to hold our power button on, press it one time. Transmitter is now on. We're going to turn on our receiver, push the center button one time. Okay, let's get our collar set up as an electronic fence. We could use it as a training collar or a fence. Today we're going to demonstrate using it as a fence. We're going to go to the remote trainer mode so we could set our levels of tone, stim, and vibration. Okay, so once we're back to the R, we're going to touch our stim button and we can now freely adjust it. We recommend starting at level 3. The same with the vibration. Okay, we're going to start at level 3. It's freely adjustable from 1 to 10. Now for the tone, start at number 9. We want to make sure the dog hears the tone. Okay, so let's go back to our fence mode. We're going to push the M back to the F. Now we're all set up to establish our perimeter for our electronic fence. So while we're setting up our electronic fence, we want to be careful not to touch our contact points on our collar. So let's put that to the side. What we want to set up here is our distance from this main control unit. It's adjustable from approximately 10 yards all the way out to 100 yards. As we hit the plus or minus button, that's an approximate distance. We're going to start at 10 yards. What's going to really determine that is the location of this unit. If there's interference, such as if it were in your garage and it has to go through a wall, it might shorten the distance. So here, we're going to set it up at 10 yards. We're just going to lay it on the table for today. However, we can mount this to a wall with our mounting holes. Okay. So for today, 10 yards. We're going to set it on the table. There is no interference. And we're going to go from there. Now that we have our transmitter set up, we're going to establish our perimeter. We're going to put perimeter marking flags around our perimeter so we know our boundary. Okay, while doing this, again, I just want to say again, do not touch the contact points. You get a little feel. When the collar beeps as I walk away from the transmitter, that tells me that I'm at the end of my perimeter. I'll put a flag in. Okay, so we're going to come back in a little bit. I heard the beep. I'll put a flag there, and I'm just going to kind of follow this perimeter. Yep, okay. Okay. Okay, so now that we have our perimeter set up, we're going to fit the collar on the dog. I'm going to put that on nice and snug, not too tight. Okay, so I like to have the dog on a long line, approximately 10 or 15 feet. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to circle the dog around the perimeter that we already have established. We know where it is. And as the collar beeps, this tone is telling me that she's reaching the boundary of the perimeter. I'm just going to call her back to me. So I want the dog to understand that when this collar beeps, it means come home. Don't continue through the boundary. Okay? So let's go. Okay, so I'm just going to circle around here. And as she approaches that perimeter, I'm going to hear that collar beep. Come on, come. Good girl. And I'll just call her back to me. Good girl. Super. Okay. Come. Good girl. Okay, so every time I hear that collar beep, I call her back to me. Back to safety, which is in her, back onto her property. Just like that, she's already learning that her boundary. Come. Super. Okay, so the other way we can use this collar unit is as a training tool. So we're going to switch it from the F fence mode to R remote trainer by hitting the M button to get that light, that blue light, back on the R. Okay, so now we have 3 features here we can use: stim, vibration, or tone. For a quick demonstration, I'm going to go ahead and use the stim. Okay, so I'm going to kind of communicate with the dog, and when she does something incorrectly, I'm going to give her a little touch of stim. Okay, come. Good girl. Come. Good girl. Okay, so she's already very obedient, but I am touching the stim every time I give her a command. Come. It just helps her to respond a little faster. Your dog should have some type of understanding of obedience training before we just start pushing buttons on an electronic collar. Okay, so this completes our video. If you have any questions or concerns, please contact our customer service department at any time.